Well, it's another edition of In the Circle, brought to you by Rawlings, as always. And today we have Southern Illinois coach Jen Sewell and league leading Southern Illinois after a big sweep this last weekend of Belmont. They were kind of nipping at your heels. And so big weekend. But before we talk about that, let's kind of back up, talk a little bit about the end of last year, the run through the conference tournament, and then the performance and in the NCAA tournament. What did that bring to the team with that little run last year, and how's that carried over into this year?
Well, I think it probably spoke to the magic that some of these veterans have had. It started sort of as had been through major injuries towards the end of last year. And I think we were in a stretch where we had lost 12 of 15 or some crazy number going into the tournament. Always hosting it feels like at least you get a home game. And I know we just kept saying, let's just get home, right? Let's just get off the road and get home. That's the best thing we can do. And to watch then Everly and a little bit of Hockerman take us through that tournament with the veterans was a big deal. And it kind of rolled into the NCAA regional. But I thought it was a preview to this year, really, in terms of we knew what we had coming in a big recruiting class, and it sort of previewed the offense and the defense. And really, if we could just get healthy, we felt like we could use the momentum from that regional into the season. And I think that's rolled over quite nicely.
Talk about the competition and the experience at the regionals. I mean, you showed well. I mean, played well, played those teams tough. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I thought, I think we're one big time catch from Baylor away from probably walking Baylor off. We scored a ton of runs. Everly at that point was just on one leg, literally on one leg. Had thrown an insane amount of pitches at that point. But, to get in that big time Pac-12 situation, I thought was big for our program. And to show well, they had like 2,800 in the seats, every seat sold out. So, and I thought we were very mature in that environment. And, now you can tell when we go to the Big Ten or we're, in those early preseason tournaments, we're not intimidated at all. So I thought that rolled over really nicely for this season.
Well, you talked a little bit about last year being a preview for this year. I mean, if I counted right, 9 seniors on this team, and all contributing in one way or another. Just talk about this senior class and what they've meant to this program.
Yeah, it's a funny class because there's the sort of originals to the class that have gone all the way through, and then we've added some transfers along the way that have really, we were able to sort of maneuver around some things that we needed. But the core group is really there, and then the group that came in bonded immediately to that group. But I think they drive a lot of the magic around here. They're kind of a no quit type group. They they do everything right. I mean, they're exactly the culture that we have had here through Coach B and Coach Blaylock, and then they've driven that sort of. We don't write those rules down, we don't write that culture down, but they're the ones that say, hey, this is what we do, this is what we don't do, and then that rolls over to the field. And they're the ones that, if you're down 12 or down 1 or up 20, they're the ones that are like, hey, this is what we're going to do, and people follow them. Just very good, gracious, kind humans who also like to step up and lead. And when that sort of, we keep saying chemistry, but that sort of aligns for a team, you just get on the ride and you ride as long as you can. So
And you had senior weekend this last weekend, so it was probably a long pregame or postgame wear because you had to get
yeah,
all 9 players out
very
there. But
emotional. Yeah.
just talk about the emotions of that and what. And it sounded like you guys had filled the stadium as well, so nice support from the community.
Yeah, we put out about, I think the weekend total was like 1,500 fans, the huge crowd on Saturday, just wanting, I know, to honor this community has always stepped up for the softball program. But I think even those folks who had never maybe seen a game wanted to come and see what the senior class was about. You never know with the team how they're going to respond to a senior day. We talked about it, it is one day in your life, and you probably will not remember your senior day. You will remember your body of work. It's like, I told them it's like planning a big wedding and then you get married and you don't remember the day at all. You form no memories because you run around worrying about everybody else.
Mhm.
And we just encourage them to take care of what they wanted to do and have a great day and enjoy when you screw it up, enjoy it. When you mess it up, enjoy it. When you make the big play, enjoy it. It all comes, it's still the game of softball. I thought they handled that really well. And then we do the ceremony post game. So we had 8 seniors this year that are going to go out. And I thought they handled it great. And, it always feels good to do senior day with a big comeback win. So,
Oh, absolutely. It kind of rounds out the whole weekend and the whole
yeah.
day. I know we're talking a lot about the seniors, but if my calculations are right, the seniors they account for 61% of your hits, 56% of your RBIs. So a couple of them that are having huge years, not only in RBIs and hits, but batting averages. There, Sid Jones is up there at 345 and Jackie List 339. They're kind of neck and neck.
Yeah.
Uh, Talk about their approach at the plate, and you've already talked about what these seniors mean to this program. Just talk about their body of work.
Yeah, I think they've really bought into what we try to do here offensively. They're the ones that are producing a lot, but they also sort of trickle that down to the others. Um, I think a lot of them just really settled in this year and got comfortable. They have had great years. There's a lot of first teamers in that class, people that have had very successful Valley years and non-conference years. I think really the addition of Jackie Liss into that mix, there's a very deep run of seniors that you'll see at the top of our lineup. So you have to face back to back to back to back to back veterans a lot. So you don't get to inexperience until well deep in the lineup. And even those players are playing pretty well right now. So, and there's some players over there that deserve even more time that we can flip totally. We can bring in an Anna Carter, we can bring in a Haley Wilkerson, we can bring a lot of things at you. But I think we've been able to flip and flop the lineup a little bit in a way that, but for the most part, you're getting juniors and seniors coming at you heavy right at the top of that lineup. And I think it's been a focus not on batting average. I think you and I have talked about that before. That philosophy just doesn't always win games. So there's other factors, what are you contributing other than just how hard do you hit a single up the middle? I think it was proof in the Belmont game. I think we struck out 24 times in 3 games. They struck out like 25 times, but when we got a swing off, we were productive. So we scored a run a lot of times with that swing. And in a Valley matchup where you have the number one pitcher at times versus the number two pitcher at times, you're going to have to hit a ball hard when you have a chance to make contact. And I think the seniors have bought into that.
Yeah, that it was a really good pitching matchup this weekend. I mean, it would have been fun to watch. And so talking about pitching, I mean, you guys are lights out. And Maddie Agroff, I remember when we came down to do a basketball game this winter, and everybody was talking about, oh my God, this kid just threw a perfect game in her first start. That kind of set the tone for the season for Maddie, and now everybody's looking at her. What makes her so good?
Well, besides just she's a generational talent. And she has lightning in her left arm. Being a southpaw is a big advantage for her. But an extremely humble, mature player. Also has a twin sister. And I think that combination of pitcher catcher is really what makes them really good. Um, she is a unstartled type of kid. Nothing, you can hit the ball hard off her. She'll give up a home run and she'll come right back. And the crazy part about her, her specialness comes when she beats you on Friday night and then comes back on Sunday and almost doubles what she does on Friday night. So you'll see 8 or 9, maybe 10 strikeouts on Friday night, and then you'll see her rip off 14 or 15 on a Sunday. And you just don't see that in freshmen. That's something that's innate to her. And her and the sister sort of have that twin special connection where you don't even see them communicate. They just sort of honk and beep at each other and wave or something, and something gets communicated, and the next thing you know, that hitter struck out. But she's a team player, very quiet, doesn't say a lot, not a loud individual at all. She goes very strictly through a routine every day for her practice and for her start. She knows herself. She knows what she needs. She knows what type of bullpen. And that is just such a rare bird. We joke about pitchers, I was a catcher, so I can joke with my pitching coach about, the pitchers. They're kind of the kooky ones sometimes, but that's what makes them so good. I think Mattia could play. She could probably hit for us. She could play a position. She's highly athletic, her and Rylan. So, people have tried all the things. They've tried to bunt, they've tried to slap, they've tried take the first pitch, they've tried swing at the first pitch, and she's handled all of it. So it's just so rare for someone her age.
It's going to be fun to see her for my first time at the conference tournament. But you've got a pitcher that pitched for you a lot last year, and Maddie Everly. And as you said, she was kind of going on one leg at the end of the season. She healthy now? She seems to be. The ERA is down there as well, and seems to be a nice complement to Groff.
Yeah, and Mattia gets a lot of the love, and Mattia shifts a lot of that off of herself and onto the rest of the pitchers. But I think the real improvement has come in the depth of our staff, and definitely Maddie just being really healthy. She put in a lot of work when, in the dark. She was lifting a lot of physical therapy, a lot of work. And I think you're starting to see when she gets usually that start on Saturday or a midweek start, she's fresh and throwing very hard. And, I think it scared her a little almost to be healthy this year. What do I do with all this feel good? Because she's such a grinder and had been in pain for so long. But to watch her really go one at a time this year and pitch some of her best pitches. She's with our new pitching coach, Katie, has adopted a little bit of a new style and a little bit of a couple added pitches in her changeup. When it's on, it's as good as anybody. So she's in the game in terms of what she can do. So you have this lefty sort of southpaw look, where the ball's going all over the place, and then you bring just hard and location and a great changeup. And Maddie's really using both sides of the plate, so you don't get a break anymore. There's nobody to look forward to on the weekend.
She's such a competitor. I'm glad to hear that she's healthy this year.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, we only have a couple weeks left before we get to that conference tournament. It just goes in the blink of an eye. So a couple of tough series over the next couple of weeks for you guys, and you want to maintain that lead, you want that number one seed. How do you approach these next couple of weeks with your team heading into the conference tournament?
Well, I think we had a long conversation after the game yesterday. Sometimes the media can get involved in driving what, we've locked something in, or we've done this, or we've spread the lead. We haven't done anything. You can't win the conference today. So we had a long conversation about Wednesday's game with Missouri State, a team that's trending up. And we talked a lot about just going through a routine. If we get out of our routine, today's the day off, tomorrow's lifting, tomorrow's practice, we play Wednesday, we do it again on Thursday, we travel. We have to stay in that routine, and we have to cut out the outside noise. I think it's easy to be sold on the idea that it's over. It's not over. Playing in a very good, well-coached veteran team on Wednesday, and then having to go on the road through the last two series is not going to be easy. And people are starting to tell us, oh, the magic number. There's no magic number. There is one game Wednesday to worry about. And we had a long conversation about that. Sometimes social media is involved in that. And they all have the internet. They can look up what they want to look up. And I think we're going to focus on just staying true to what we've been doing. That's what's working, is staying in that routine. And we need to worry about Wednesday and not Friday. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that. I think it's always an interesting thing when you see Missouri State way early in the season, and then almost a month passes by, you get a totally different team on Wednesday who's really starting to play well. So if we're focused on UNI and Belmont, we're going to lose sight of Missouri State. And so we're going to worry about Wednesday's game first and then worry about Friday on Friday.
Yeah, great approach, and a great way to head into the last couple of weeks. And I think it's going to be a great tournament.
Yes.
Going to be a fun tournament. Hopefully we have great weather, and looking forward to seeing you guys play. I haven't had the opportunity, only a few times I've jumped in and watched you play, and like what I see. So looking forward to seeing you live, and we will see you at the conference tournament here in a couple of weeks. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thanks, Laura.